Now for our next technical optimization, we're going to be focusing on the ads. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is add new ads and pause underperforming ads. Pretty straightforward, but there are some things here that we have to look for to make this happen. So number one, the ad groups must have at least 15 conversions. Back to the point of having enough data for you to analyze, right? So we're going to go over a live example of that. So let's take a look at this campaign. First thing I would do, I'll look at the campaign, I'll sort by conversions. I'll see, okay, this campaign has a lot of conversions in the last 30 days or whatever time range that you're using. So for you, you want to start looking at all time because it's a brand new campaign and you want to look at the all time data, right? So you'd select all time, okay? These campaigns here have a lot of conversions. Let's look into the ad groups. So I selected that campaign. Now I'm going to sort the ad groups by conversions, and this ad group has a lot of conversions, 700, okay? So I would go into the ad group so I can see the ads inside that ad group. So this ad group classifies for an optimization because it has more than 15 conversions. Now, as you can see here, we have the 4 ads, right? 3 extended and 1 responsive. And as you can see here, we have a shorter version, and then again, same process that we follow at the ad copy module of this course. Now, if we look here, we can see that Google is serving this ad here, the top ad, way more often. Now, let's take a look at the numbers, right? It has driven the most conversions. It has driven a CPL of $46. One thing for you to keep in mind is that for ads, we do not look at CPL. Because remember, the cost per click is being derived from the keyword. So the ads has nothing to do with the cost, right? So what we have to look for is the impression conversion rate. But first, let me explain to you what a conversion rate is. So a conversion rate, actually it says right here, it takes amount how many clicks it took for this ad to convert. So this ad has a 13% conversion rate, much higher than the others. But it's only taken into the conversion rate only takes into account the number of clicks, okay, and the number of conversions. So as you can see here, it says this metric includes interactions that could lead to conversions, okay? It's the number of conversions divided by the number of clicks. Interactions means clicks. So when you divide the number of conversions by the number of clicks, you have a 13% conversion rate. So out of 100 clicks, you're getting 13 conversions. So it seems like Google is picking the right ad here, but we want to go even further. We want to calculate things based on number of impressions, right? So out of how many times our ad showed up, how many conversions did we get? And that's why we have this impression conversion rate metric. Okay, and it seems like Google is doing a good job here. They are picking the ad with the highest impression conversion rate. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to add this metric. So under columns, you click on column, modify columns. So here you're going to select custom column, and then you would add a new column. Okay, so as you can see here, I already have the column created. If I wanted to edit this, I'll click on the pencil button. And the equation is conversions divided by impressions. So here you click custom column, then you type conversions here, it would pop up, select the divide here symbol, and then type impressions. Then impressions will show up, and that's your metric. So you're going to name this impression conversion rate, okay? And then you'd save that, okay? And make sure we're selecting percentage or data format percentage, okay? Then you'd save. I already have that saved, so I'm not going to recreate another one. But that's how you'd create that custom column. And just by doing this, you're way ahead of the competition because even experts that I came across in this industry don't know about this metric and how to look at the ads and how to optimize the ads properly. okay? So you'd save that, and as you can see here, I have mine ready, data format %, so we're good there. You would click on this checkbox to add it to your columns. Already did that. So we're good here. So here, I think Google is doing a good job. And the low, yeah, and it is serving the ads with the highest impression conversion rate. We can just sort this by impression conversion rate, okay? So it's doing that. As you can see, this ad is getting a lot of clicks. This one is getting the second most clicks, which makes sense. What you would do here is you would pause, okay? The responsive ad, which is the third here, see the responsive ad that we have is not performing as well as the other ones. And I also definitely pause this one that has a really low conversion rate, okay? An impression conversion rate. And Google's not even serving this because it's predicting it's not gonna do well. Now, what you would do here, you pause this ad and then you create 2 new ads based on the dynamics of the winning ad. So for example, you would go and create a new ad. You already know how to do that because we already went over this ad segment. You create new ads and you would look into the lines, the headlines of this ad and not change it that much. Just change a couple of things, right? So in this scenario, you may create an ad just like this one, but without the second description line, right? So small, subtle changes. Right? Or you can also go the route of one, what I just said, kind of mimicking the best ads, or you can go on and get creative and create a whole new ad that you think will drive that performance, right? Because maybe you have a new offer on the website, or maybe you just want to test something that you thought about that you think may work. Okay, but again, don't forget the principles of writing ad copy that we already went over. Okay.
All right, just wanted to take this quick break here to let you know that if you need help managing your campaigns or just learning more about Google Ads in general, there's a link in the description below this video that you can click to book a time with me. Right? It doesn't matter if you're a specialist, if you're a business owner, if you're a director who wants to learn more about Google Ads so you can better manage your team or delegate to other agencies. We can talk about your goals and then see what are the best steps to take from there. All right, so there's a link in the description below, and hopefully we'll get to talk soon. Now let's get back to this lesson.
So that's how you would gauge, that's how you would find the underperforming ads. In this scenario, it's this responsive ad and this ad right here. Now let's look at another example. So let's say I go to this campaign now, and I go to the ad groups, and I'm gonna sort this by conversion. Okay, this one has more than 15 conversions. Let's go take a look at the ads. Here are the keywords. Let's click here to find the ads. Now I see all the ads. Let's see what Google is doing. Okay, this ad has a really high impression conversion rate, so that's good. This one has the second highest. So it seems like Google is also doing a good job here. Okay, it's picking the winning ad, which makes sense, and this ad is getting no conversions almost. So what I would do in this scenario, I'll pause these 2 ads, and you can pause anything inside the platform just by clicking here and hitting pause. If you want to pause multiple things, you just click edit. There's a couple of ways you can pause. It's the same thing. So I'll pause these 2 ads because they are underperforming a lot compared to these 2 ads, right, from an impression conversion rate standpoint. So I'll go in here. Okay, I already looked at this first ad group, sorting by conversions. So let's take a look at this one. See what's happening. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, seems like Google is doing a good job here as well. So what I would do, I would pause these 2 ads, right, and add new ads here. Okay. And leave the top performing ad. So as you can see, in general, Google does a good job at picking the right winning ads for you. It got a lot better throughout these years. And again, for someone who lives on a busy schedule, you don't have time to be analyzing everything, a bunch of things every day. This is the best format for someone who's an entrepreneur or a business owner, or even someone that works at an agency, for you to be able to manage all your campaigns, okay? So follow these principles and you're going to do really well. Now back to the slides. We already talked about impression conversion rate, and now you know how to set that up. And pause the ads that Google isn't serving as much and add new ads. You already covered that. Now here, consider pausing ads with high volume and lower impression conversion rate for the week to see if the ad with the higher impression conversion rate will receive more impressions. So this can be a little confusing, but basically what I mean here is that hypothetically, this is not the case, okay? But let's say if Google was serving an ad that had the lowest impression conversion rate. Let me see if I can try to find an example here. Right now, Google has been doing a good job, so find an example. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, all time. Yeah, Google's doing a good job here as well. But in an instance, right, where let's say this impression conversion rate is low. Let's say this is the lowest impression conversion rate and Google is serving this ad the most for whatever reason. Again, Google does do a good job at picking the right ads, as you've seen, but let's use a hypothetical example. What you could do, let's say Google is serving this more impressions to this ad, but this ad has a better performance, okay? So this ad has a better performance than this one, but Google is serving this ad the least. What you could do is momentarily pause this ad, take a note under your optimizations, right? Hey, pause an ad that had a lower, that was being served a lot with a lower impression conversion rate to see if Google would reallocate those impressions to this ad, okay? And again, assuming that this ad had a higher impression conversion rate, which is not the case here. But this is something you could do if you find that Google is serving the ad that doesn't have the highest impression conversion rate the most, okay? And then you just see what happened. Okay, did the volume of impressions decrease overall at the ad group level? Was this a good optimization or not? But you keep that on your notes so that you can check the next week how this ad group is doing. But just something to keep in mind. Again, doesn't always happen. I just looked at 4 ad groups here, and it seems like Google is doing pretty well. Let's look at another campaign. This one, Google is doing really well here too. So that's the power of automation. You may not run into that, but here's pretty close, but it's still picking the best performing ad. It's serving. No, actually, let's sort by impressions. So here's a good example, okay? But it's not as bad because it's so close that this doesn't even matter. But what you could do if the gap here was higher, so Google is serving this ad that has a lower impression conversion rate, right? What you could do is momentarily pause this one to see if the impressions would be reallocated to this ad. But again, the difference here is so close that it's not even a good example. But you get the point. And that's what I mean by this line. Consider pausing ads with a high volume, maybe I'll add more to it, high volume of impressions, meaning Google is serving this ad the most, and the lower impression conversion rate for a week to see if the ad with higher impression conversion rate would receive more impressions. But in general, you won't need to do this because Google tends to pick the right ad for most part, okay? Their algorithm is getting smarter and smarter year over year. And that's the beauty of this program. We are harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to run our campaigns, okay? Now that's it for the ad optimization and how you would drive performance with your ads. And now let's move on to the next video.
Hello everyone, I hope you have enjoyed this content and I hope you have learned something here today. And if you really enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, comment, leave your thoughts below, and share it with your friends, right? You don't have to share it publicly, you can just share it privately with people that you think may like this content. That's a way that you can show me that you really enjoyed it and that and that I'm doing the right thing, right? That I'm putting the right type of content out that are helping people better manage their Google Ads accounts. But I just wanted to take this time to thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.